All right, good morning everyone. Well, we've had quite a few people ask for a tour of the boat, so we thought we'd do that in no better place than Hog Island, where we're anchored at the minute. This is the south coast of Grenada, and we've been on anchor here for, I think this is actually our third night, and it's a very secure little anchorage. And if you look back over there, Fiacre is my cameraman today. And if we look over, we can see the beach over here, which is a little bar. And we arrived on Sunday. They had a great little setup there. And then if you look out to sea, out on the starboard side of the boat, here's some reefs that we need to navigate on the way out a little later on. But that helps give it, get rid of the roll within the anchorage. Anyway, back to the boat. So starting with the deck plan, I'll make this kind of nice and sociable, but have a little bit of technical information for those sailors out here that want it as well. So the boat is a Dufour 412, so she's about 40 foot in length, and she's obviously a mono hull. And starting on the deck plan, quite a nice wide deck plan up here. And then as we move back, what's interesting about the Dufour is that they actually have brought the boom very, very low right here at the mast. And what that allows us to do is when we're taking the sail down, it's much easier to pack it away because you can reach it. On a lot of other boats, you're way, way up here trying to get at it and get at the zips and all of that. So that's quite a nice little design detail. And then moving back, we'll see this from inside, but there's a lot of light within the interior because of quite a lot of glass around here as well, which is kind of nice. And we have spray hood, so that kind of stops the waves kind of when we're out at sea. And then we have a bimini back here, which is for the sun, so that kind of keeps us in the shade a lot of the time when we're sailing, which is kind of essential obviously here in the Caribbean. So taking you back into the cockpit, so it's just about breakfast time, so I think we have Amanda here just getting set up with all her breakfast stuff. And coming back, just first of all to point out is our little dinghy. So what they often say for people who are doing a lot of cruising is that the main boat is your home and the dinghy is your car. Now, we were very fortunate when we chartered this boat that the dinghy was actually brand new out of the wrapper, and it came with also a brand new Mercury 5-horse engine. So what we found is that if it's just me on my own, I can get the boat up on a plane. With the four of us, not so much. Fiacre and Avian together being lighter, the two of them can actually get it up on a plane as well, and we scoot off at a nice fast speed. So what else to show? Just coming into the frame again, I'm actually standing on the swim platform here, so it actually comes down on a pulley system, and we love this because it gives us a huge amount of space, you know, when we're going swimming and all that sort of stuff. And we have a little shower that fits in here, and that comes with hot and cold water, which is really nice, so we can kind of shower down after the swim. Although we carry approximately 380 litres of water, and we reckon our consumption is around 30 litres a day. So, you know, we kind of got to be a little bit careful of that. We can maybe get about 12, 14 days in between filling up, which is kind of important. These boats, actually, the Dufour 412, come with a built-in galley at the back. Now, this particular boat does not have it fitted, so we've kind of used it for our snorkel and our mast. But it's kind of a nice idea because I suppose the concept is that you can be standing out here on your swim platform and you can be cooking up your barbecue and whatever else. So that's kind of nice there. There's also a ton of space underneath. So right in behind here where we store, you know, kind of, unfortunately we have to put our trash and stuff somewhere, but diesel cans, things like that. And then on the other side, we have our life raft, which is fitted in there. We'll put the flippers in there as well. So, Fiacre, maybe if you want to stay out there, and I'll go inside and we'll start looking at the cockpit. So, so we basically got a twin wheel setup, and they do that on wider boats, so that because it would be a very large wheel they'd have to put in the middle, which is probably too big. So they make it two smaller wheels, both obviously service the rudder. So. Then we also have a navigation system in here as well from Ray Marine. So we have a chart plotter in there, and then that's linked into autopilot and typical instruments there. And then we also have a repeat of that same information across here on a second instrument panel. and obviously compasses on each of the steering pedestals. So back in the cockpit itself, there are two kind of lazarettes which we use to store all of our mooring lines. When we're at sea, we typically put the dinghy up on the deck, and we need to store like the petrol can for it and stuff in there as well. So the same sized one on the other side, again for line and fenders. I'd say they're reasonably sized, not excessive. So that would be one thing I'd say. You know, you could probably do with more space there if you were carrying extra sails and things like that. And then, you know, looking forward, the usual arrangement here, you know, with your winches, and most of the lines are brought aft there as well. So quite simple and straightforward. And I think, one other thing to report there is this side berth here actually comes up and becomes a double berth. So if you wanted to, and the same on both sides, you can actually comfortably sleep probably 2 and 2, 4 people out here in the cockpit. Okay, so just to say. So, okay, so moving down below. So, right. Here we are in the interior of the boat. It's a kind of a nice layout. This is a twin head, which is twin bathroom, and a 3 cabin layout from Dufour. This boat actually is pretty new. She was built in 2018, so she's maybe just had a couple of seasons under her belt. So we thought for a charter boat, it was in pretty good condition. One thing I will say is there is a huge amount of storage down below. Now, the reality is in a hot climate like the Caribbean, you're spending most of your time up on deck, so the deck layout's important. But down below, we can actually get a lot of distance and space, so people can hang out here on this couch arrangement, and then we have a separate one here. This is the nav station for all the charts and navigation, but it actually works on a hinge system, so you can actually move this entire thing down and this turns into a bed. Okay, so that's kind of an interesting arrangement there. And just to give you a sense of the space, literally there's oodles of it, you know, so huge locker there. Similarly, there's 2 or 3 in under those cushions as well. And under the pilot seat, which is behind the navigational section, there is, you know, tons of storage in there as well. Okay, so just to say. Okay, so that's that. Fixed saloon table down here. And a couple of nights it has been raining so hard up top that we have used that. Moving back into the galley area. The galley is amazing. I mean, it's really easy to use. You can kind of secure yourself in while you're, you know, doing all your bits and bobs that you're cooking. But the fridge is just huge. So there's a top loader, which goes from top down, okay? And then secondly, it opens from here, and the capacity on it is just huge. So it goes all together. So it's easy enough to get stuff out, but it's pretty big as well. And everything else pretty standard like you'd expect. I really like the way that the lockers stay shut. So they call these the fiddles, I guess, the things that hold lockers shut. And it's quite a, you know, purposeful thing. You open it, the thing goes down on a soft hinge here, which is kind of nice. And even when you're trying to get things out, you can kind of store them here as you go. So, you know, I think looking at boats, that's a very kind of clever thing to have. And that's throughout, basically, on everything. Just to go to the aft of the boat first. So we've got the twin cabin layout, both aft. And so I think this was Avian's here on the starboard side. You can see there's plenty of light and a good amount of ventilation up top as well. And just oodles of storage in here too. So, you know, you've got, you know, big, large closet. And similar on the port side, you've got Fiacre's very neat arrangement in there as well. So that's the second aft cabin. And then moving into the head. So if we look just inside there, it's everything fairly straightforward. You got your actual toilet itself, and then if you go around the corner, you've got a shower arrangement in there as well. Now, we never shower really inside the boat because you know, it generates a lot of moisture, and you know, in the tropics that creates kind of a lot of damp. So we generally shower off the back of the boat. But the other interesting thing on this, which I'm not so keen on, is that all the toilets are electric. So there's a couple of buttons that run the water in and the water out. And the problem is that seems to use quite a lot of our power. So just to kind of be conscious of that. let's see, the last cabin in here is, I'll let Fiacre kind of walk through and I'll just kind of give an overview of it. So this is what's considered to be the master cabin on this boat. So ample space, good headroom in here as well. And again, lots of storage in terms of not only the wardrobe space, but also, you know, decent amount of space here in these little holes as well. Good kind of shelving space up top. And then it also has its separate head in there as well, which works out really well. And I think now, finally, to wrap up, I come with the pièce de résistance. So you might want to stand over near the cooker there to take this one. So this is a pretty cool feature, and it's quite common on the Dufour yachts, which is a storage for your wine cellar. So in here, you have oodles of space to put in wine, and we've used it for various other things as well. Keeps it nice and close to the bilge, so kind of keeps all of the drinks cool and everything else as well, and obviously that's important. So that's a quick tour of the boat Bermuda, a Dufour 412. Thanks for watching.